That doesn't even make any sense to me at all anyway. So if they're defining this kind of thing, don't you think they'd be trying to hide something in the first place? United States person, a citizen or resident of the United States. And United States was already defined to be one of the 50 states or the district. A domestic partnership or domestic corporation. Any estate, any trust, if a court within the United States is able to exercise primary supervision over administration of the trust, blah, 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 whatever. So here's another weird thing. A United States person is not a person, technically. It's a person or a corporation or a partnership or whatever. They just want to, you know, say something, they'll do it. I think this is one that may secure it. An employee, for the purpose of applying the provisions of Section 79, I'm not sure I printed that one out. Well, whatever. With respect to group term life insurance purchased for employees. Really strange, you know, like, whatever. That just made me confused, that's all. Anyway. But there's a lot of definitions in this one section, is all I'm trying to say. The definitions, they're just defining things. And you're supposed to know that you're supposed to look up in subtitle F when you're actually in subtitle A, the income tax. But the whole thing is, they never specifically say that the United States citizen is supposed to pay an income tax. When they actually define it in here, in this one section anyway, they never say that a citizen is supposed to pay a tax. Look it up yourself. Oh, yeah. Here's another one. You have to look this up on your own. If you look in the Code of Federal Regulations, CFR, well, the CFR is what enables the Treasury to actually go through with this stuff. The Treasury creates all of this regulation, while the code is the law that is enacted by Congress, and so the Treasury has to go by that. So the Code of Federal Regulations, if you go to you have to go to 26, which is related to Title 26, you know, so 26 CFR 1.1441-1. I know that's hard to see. That's not an H. 1441-1. This defines the fact that a United States citizen is not subject to withholding, at the very least. It says it. Pretty clear, actually. So go check that out. Might be, I think it's Part B. Well, whatever. Just check out that regulation and search for citizen or, you know, whatever. Just check it out. So this is my little spiel on the fact that the income tax is actually not illegal at all. It's not unconstitutional, but they're trying to hide something from you, from the very fact that you don't have to pay an income tax. It's very roundabout, and it defines individual defines married person and head of household and all this, when it really, in the end, only pertains to non-resident aliens or foreign corporations. It doesn't pertain to us. So after all of this strain over the past like 4 or 5 days, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll tell you straight up. I'm going to file my 1040 this year because I know I'm going to get a return because I'm lucky like that. But next year, or actually just after I get my return, I'm going to file a voluntary non-compliance. I didn't even go over that. So they always say that this is a voluntary compliance system when everybody believes that it's actually mandatory anyway. They always say that it's voluntary compliance. Let me go over that definition. Voluntary compliance. First off, voluntary means acting or done without any present legal obligation to do the thing done. So you're just doing something freely out of your own spirit or something. Compliance is the disposition or willingness to please, yielding or acting in accord. So if someone asks you to do something in a certain way, then you'll do it in that way. That's all that means. So you're acting out of your own free will to comply with someone else's wishes. That's what that is. Now, if it were mandatory, you know what that means. You got to do it. And that's the way everybody expects. You know, everybody expects to be doing this because they're told to do it. But has any law officer ever told you to do it? Maybe your employers do it because they believe they have to do it as well. But do you really need to do it? There's the question. All right. So something woke me up to all of this quickly. And I'm like, wait a minute. If someone like this, two people like this, are saying the things that I'm saying to you right now, I've got to look into it. Okay, let me explain this. Joe Bannister. You guys may know this kind of stuff, but I know I didn't. So Joe Bannister, Criminal Investigation Division Special Agent. That's, he was a special agent in the IRS, but he learned that through someone on the radio. He learned about this through a radio show. This woman calls into a show, onto this show that Joe Bannister watched or listened to a lot. And he's hearing things that, like what I'm telling you right now. And he had to look into it. It took him a few months from what I understood, or maybe a couple years. And he came to the same conclusion. You don't have to pay an income tax. So, but there's another IRS agent as well, Sherry Jackson, who is now in jail because she's been talking about this stuff. She's in jail for 4 years. But she was an administrative agent. She was believing for the longest time that she actually had some kind of authority to go up to people and appraise their houses, that kind of thing, because people weren't paying their taxes. Might have been faulty, might have been not. But in the end, she found out that she was only administrative. She had no real authority. She wasn't so the IRS is kind of plagued in a sense, but that's why the FBI was always with her, and she was naive to all this. She's like, oh, I don't have any power. And she looks into the code herself and finds that citizens don't need to pay an income tax.